guys, so week 9 of the NFL regular season is upon us. Well, it will be in about 20, not even 24 hours, about 12 hours is when, less than 12 hours because I forgot there is a Germany game. Anyways, yeah, it's Saturday night. It's 11:22 on Saturday night. I didn't do a prediction for Thursday Night Football. I really should have. I would have predicted the Steelers to win anyway, so I got that one right anyways because, I don't like the Titans and the Steelers anyways. Anyways, so today we're going to do our Week 9 predictions. Let me know what are your predictions down below in the comment section. Let me know how's your team doing. How's your fantasy football team doing? I'm 4-4. I did not win last week. I was so close, but then everybody in the last 2 minutes decided to get a touchdown. So, I guess we're cool there. Anyways, how's your fantasy football team doing? Do you think you're going to make the playoffs? After this, we only have about 8 weeks left, so just let me know. How are you guys doing, and, what's your favorite team? How are they doing? And we're going to get started with tomorrow's Germany game, the Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs. In case you can't tell, I have the Chiefs right here. I got the Chiefs Super Bowl hat right here. I love the Chiefs, but I also quite like the Dolphins. I've liked the Dolphins ever since my favorite wide receiver, Tyreek Hill, went to them. I like Tua Tagovailoa. I like Jalen Waddle. I like their defense. I like a lot of things about the Miami Dolphins. And so the Miami Dolphins are a close second place. They're tied with the Vikings for the second place team that I really like watching. And so this is going to be a great game, I personally think. Thing is, I'm just a bit nervous for both these teams. Number one, the Miami Dolphins have not beaten a team over 500 in a long time. They have not beaten a single good team this year. They beat up on all the bad teams, but they can't beat the good teams. They did not beat the Eagles. That was a rough game. They did not beat the Bills. That was a rough game. It's the only 2 games this year that they played a team over 500. So coming in here playing the Chiefs, I personally don't think that we've been having a great year. We might have won 6 in a row, but we have not been playing good football. I feel like it's the fact that our schedule was a bit soft this year, and that we were playing bad teams. But I don't think it's the refs at all. I don't think that's a problem. But I feel like we just haven't been playing up the par football. We've been playing rough football, and so I've just been very nervous. And we lost to the Broncos. That's a low of low. We lost to the Broncos. That is a new low that I never thought could happen. So we're coming in here playing the Dolphins after the Broncos. The Dolphins haven't beaten a team over 500. The Chiefs lost to the Broncos. Both teams kind of struggling in this kind of aspect. I think this is going to be a blowout game, but I genuinely can't bet against the Chiefs. I will have to go with the Chiefs to win this one, specifically because of the fact that the Dolphins have not beaten a team over 500. And so, as worried as I am for Kansas City, I really do think that we're going to take the dub tomorrow morning in Germany, and specifically because Taylor Swift there, and she's our good luck charm. So I'm taking the Chiefs in this one. This is going to be a rough game. My Minnesota Vikings, my second favorite team, and the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are a team that I was excited to watch. I've been excited to watch in all their games, but every single game they're kind of meh. They're not as good as I thought they once were. 4-4, so they're definitely not bad. But the Vikings are also 4-4. But the Vikings have been doing great. They, all of a sudden, they beat the Niners, they beat the Bears, they beat the Packers 3 in a row. And even though we lost Kirk Cousins, I do think that we're still going to continuing on this roll, specifically with Justin Jefferson coming back soon. And we got Joshua Dobbs, who I don't think is that bad of a quarterback. I know we're not playing him this week, but I feel like he's a pretty good quarterback. And I feel like our season's not over yet. There's still a while to go, and we can still turn this thing around. And we're playing the Falcons, who's been struggling. They're not playing Desmond Ridder. I think they're playing Taylor Heineke. And so with Taylor Heineke starting for them, and it's his first start of the year, they are really being a struggling offense so far. They're getting wins. They have a couple good games, but they've really been an offense that's struggling here. I feel like even though Minnesota doesn't have a quarterback, there's a big chance for Minnesota to come around and just continue this win streak, keep it coming, make it 4 games in a row, and become 5-4. That would be very, very exciting for a Vikings fan. And even though we don't have a great quarterback, I'm still very excited, and against the Falcons, it's a big chance to do. The Chicago Bears and the New Orleans Saints. Saints looked like a very good football team last week. They looked like a great team when they played the Indianapolis Colts. The Chicago Bears, they're the Chicago Bears. They're not all that great of a team. They're kind of really lacking in a couple parts this year, and specifically without Justin Fields. Last week they didn't play great football against the Chargers. They're coming in here to play a Saints team who's been pretty on fire. They're not doing bad. That's the wrong game I just clicked on. The Saints, their record this year is also 4-4, while the Bears are 2-6. The Saints keep getting wins. Derek Carr is a pretty good quarterback. Taysom Hill is a pretty good power player. They've got Chris Olave still playing. They've got a solid team. And so now they're playing the Bears, who I feel like they lost a quarterback. They're really starting to lack a little bit. Sure, they won against the Raiders, but it's every bad team they played. They played bad teams, and they win. They even lost against the Broncos. They lost against the Broncos, which is kind of sad as well. Don't at me. And so the New Orleans Saints, they're, like I said, they're a team that's, I think, been kind of on fire lately. So I don't really think that I can bet against them playing the Chicago Bears. Saints are going to take the win in this one. And now we got the Rams, the sad team of the week, because the Rams, every single week I do this. I say, you know what? The Rams, they have a tough schedule, but I think they're going to get the win here. I say the same thing every single week to where I sound like a broken record, and the Rams always find new ways to disappoint me. I bet on them over the Dallas Cowboys, and Dallas Cowboys absolutely killed them last week. I think that's how weird my relationship with the Rams have been this year. I want the Rams to turn things around. I really do. They are standing at 3-5. That's not great. They're playing a Packers team that's really, really struggling. They're 2-5. They won their first 2 games, but they haven't won one since. They are also a team that lost against the Broncos. Don't at me. And so they are really a struggling team. Jordan Love is really struggling. Their defense is really struggling. And they're coming in this Rams team that every single week, I think that they have the perfect opportunity to turn things around. And turn things around. And turn things around. And turn things around. And they never do it. And I'm going to say the same thing. I think that against this struggling Packers team that I don't think is a good team whatsoever, I think that they have a pretty big opportunity to turn it around here. That's a really great opportunity that if the Rams could seize hold of this, that could be huge for them to turn their season around. I say this all the time, and each week I really hope it happens. This is a game that I don't have 100% confidence the Rams can win, but I do think that now that they're playing the Packers, they have the odds, and they got my vote. I'm going to go for the Rams, but I'm very, very nervous about it. The Commies and the Patriots, or the Redskins and the Patriots. It's every week. I don't know what I'm going to call them. But the Commanders, they're a good team. They're solid enough. Standing at 3-5. They're not a great team. They've been losing a lot of games, but they also have a young quarterback at Sam Howell, and they're not that bad of a team. And they're playing a Patriots team who is 2-6, and I think one of the worst teams in the league. This team is abysmal to watch. They got killed against the Dolphins last week. They barely won against the Bills. That was the shocker of the season so far, besides the Broncos beating the Chiefs. Don't at me. But the Patriots have just been a flipping train wreck this year. It's been an absolute train wreck. Mac Jones is horrible. Their offense is horrible. And so it's just like this team that I don't like watching. And the Commanders, they haven't been terrible. They've really been playing good teams that have been able to beat them. But they're not the worst team. I think that they're still a pretty good team, and I like watching them enough. I don't think that they're going to lose against the Patriots. The Patriots have really been needing a win here, but they suck every single week, and I feel like they're going to continue to suck until they are helmed as the worst team in the league. I don't think that they're going anywhere this season. I think that they're going to be the worst. Well, the Commanders, they're a solid enough team. Maybe they're going to squeak in a playoff win. I don't know. Seattle and Baltimore. Game of the week, in my opinion, besides the Dolphins-Chiefs game. It's the Dolphins and Chiefs game. That's going to be a really good game. This one right here, the Seahawks and the Ravens. These teams are both 5-2. Well, the Seahawks had their bye week, but the Ravens didn't. So Ravens are 6-2. Seahawks are 5-2. But I think that they're both really great teams. I really do. Seattle's got Geno Smith, who has been a shocker for the past 2 years. They also got Metcalf and Lockett, who I think are some very, very good players. But the Baltimore Ravens have really been proving me wrong. I keep saying that I don't feel like Lamar Jackson is the one, and they pulled over a win against Cleveland. No, not Cleveland. They pulled over a win. I don't even remember who they played last week. The Cardinals. They pulled over a win against Cardinals. They beat the Lions. They did beat Cleveland earlier this year. They've really been a solid team, taking down all these teams with over 500. They got a rough schedule, and I really think that they've been proving that they can do good. So I mean, the Ravens are really the shocker team of the year where you expected Seattle to be doing this good, but I didn't expect Baltimore to be this fire, and so this is going to be such an entertaining game to watch, and the game that I will be doing my most attention to, because I'm just very excited to see where this one's going. It's going to be a back-and-forth battle. It's going to be Seahawks' best match since the Lions. But I do think that the Ravens are going to take a hold of this one, and I do think that the Ravens are going to win. I really like the Seahawks, but I feel like this Ravens team, the way they're playing right now, until Lamar gets injured down the line, I feel like the Ravens are going to be this best team in the AFC, and I feel like they are going to be maybe not even lose another game. Maybe they are going to go to the playoffs. They have a big chance here for the rest of the year, and I'm very, very excited to see this game. This is going to be a great game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Houston Texans. The Texans, they were the team to get the first win for the Panthers. They just basically handed that one on a silver platter with the field goal. But they're still a solid team. They're only, 3-4. They're not that bad. Buccaneers are 3-4. These are two teams that I feel like they have potential. They're still working on a couple things. They both also have a really rough schedule this year, so each of the teams they're playing are solid enough teams, except the sad excuse for a loss last week for the Texans. But these are two teams that I feel like are really solid, and they're playing really good football. And so for being 3-4, one with a rookie QB, one with Baker Mayfield, who's a good quarterback, but they lost Tom Brady, so they're trying to adjust to a few things. I think that this has potential to be another solid match, and this is the one that I find hardest to pick this week, because on one hand, I really like CJ Stroud. I really think CJ Stroud is going to do great, but I also like Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. So this is also a game I don't know who I'm rooting for, because I want both teams to succeed. And so who do I think is the better team here? I think I'd have to go the Buccaneers, maybe winning over a field goal. There is a lot of great games this week, and this is one of them. The Buccaneers and the Texans is going to be a phenomenal game, and I'm very excited to see how this one tunes out and who's going to have the better QB performance. But I do think that Tampa Bay is going to pop over here. In fact, if I was allowed to predict, I think that this one has potential to be a tie. I really do think that this game could be our first tie of the year. That's genuinely how solid I think both of these teams are, that they're just going to be so solid they're going to cancel each other out and maybe even tie. But if I have to choose a winner, I think I'm going to choose Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. Our final noon game, the Cardinals and the Browns. The Cardinals, poor Cardinals, they're the only team with one win. The only team, the Panthers are also a team with one win. Well, they're playing the Browns, who the Browns are solid. They have a great defense. For 2 quarters yesterday, or not yesterday, but last week, they completely shut out Seattle. That was a very good game for them. Their defense is absolutely phenomenal. Their offense needs some work. They really struggle on the offensive side, and that's really what's going to kill them. But the Cardinals overall, they struggle on the defensive side. Their offensive side was solid. They got Kyler Murray back. They have Marquise Brown. That's solid enough. But they also have Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray didn't play a single game this year. This will be his first game of the year. And Joshua Dobbs, I personally think that Joshua Dobbs is better than Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is unique. He's definitely unique, but he's not all that talented. But this Cardinals team is a team that's been rebuilding for the past couple of years, and it comes to a point where you need to add a real big power player to this team if you want to start winning games. Their defense is the one that's really stopping here. But their defense playing a struggling offense and the struggling offense playing a great defense, I just don't see any reality where the Browns end up losing this game. And so I'm going to go with the Browns taking over the Cardinals. Even though my family's from Arizona, I would love to see the Arizona Cardinals win this game. I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. Indianapolis versus the Panthers, and we entered our afternoon games. So the Panthers, they got the first win last week. They looked good. They've been looking good the past couple of weeks, just can't secure wins. Bryce Young is a guy that infamously I've said that I'm not that big of a fan of, and I still stick with it. He still does the same annoying thing where he just looks around and just throws it instead of anticipating his next move. He just doesn't seem like he wants to be there to me, but they had a solid performance last week. Now they're playing a struggling Colts team. They don't have Anthony Richardson. Last week, Gardner Minshew did not play as good as he did the week before against the Browns. And so this is a team with Gardner Minshew as QB, but they also got some solid wide receiver potential and solid defense. They're playing a struggling Panthers team this year. The Panthers are on a roll, but I do feel like this is a time for the Colts to say, you know what? We got Gardner Minshew. We've been training Gardner Minshew. We need Gardner Minshew to start coming in here. And we need Gardner Minshew to start getting us wins. And the perfect time here to switch this whole thing around is against the Panthers. And so I don't see the Colts losing this game. I do think it'd be cool if the Panthers won, even though I like the Colts. But this is going to be another close game, I think. But I do think it's the time that the Colts start turning things around, and playing against the Panthers will be the perfect opportunity. Speaking of perfect opportunities, the Giants got a big one here. They did lose last week. Or did they lose? Yeah, they lost last week against the Jets. That was really sad because they missed a field goal, and then the Jets all of a sudden actually started playing football for the first time that whole game. Now you're playing the Raiders, and you lost your head coach this past week, and Josh McDaniels. I got one thing to say to him. Goodbye, brother, and see you later, because no one likes Josh McDaniels. But does Josh McDaniels make a good coach? Yeah, maybe, because instead of playing Jimmy Garoppolo, you're now actually putting in a rookie quarterback who's actually started to look good in the preseason. But, Josh McDaniels decided, hey, you know what? We got a good quarterback. But instead of playing a good quarterback, we're going to play Jimmy G. What a great idea, Josh. I can see why you got fired. Congratulations. So they're still a struggling team. They're really a struggling team. But what perfect time for Aidan O'Connell to get his first start when he's playing the New York Giants. They're the Giants. They are having a horrible season so far. They lost, and they keep on losing, and they keep playing good until they end up losing the games. They just have so much struggles. This has potential to be a horrible football game. But it also has potential to get the Raiders' spark moving. I do feel bad for the Raiders, everybody on the organization. First, there's Derek Carr last year's tick of it. Now there's Davante Adams. Davante needs to go. He needs to get somewhere else. What perfect place to go than Kansas City? But, because we need wide receivers or anything. But I don't see a single world where I see where the Raiders are losing this game against the Giants, especially with Aidan O'Connell getting his first NFL start. The Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles, America's team versus America's real team. The Eagles, they're on fire. They lost against the Jets. They kind of made them mad, so they are now coming out for the necks of all the NFL teams and have been absolutely whooping them out. Last week, I said that the Cowboys aren't a good team. That really aged well because they absolutely smoked not the Dallas Rams, but the Los Angeles Rams. They smoked them brutally. That was a brutal butt spanking. That was rough to watch. And so, they're a good team. And this is a game that people are freaking out over. I definitely see Dallas as underdogs in this one. I feel like Philadelphia's coming out. I can see Philadelphia not losing another game all year. And now they're facing Dallas, who could be a tough opponent. But they're really coming in as an underdog here and in tough matchups. The 49ers, Dak Prescott did not perform. The team did not perform. But I do think that they can perform here, keep it in a close matchup. But I just don't see the Eagles losing another game all year. And so I'd have to go with Philly to beat Dallas in this matchup. And America's game of the week. This is going to be such a good game. Can't wait to watch that one as well. But I do think Eagles are walking off with it. All right, our last two primetime games. We got the Bills and the Bengals. This is another great game. Holy crap, Week 9 is full of stacked games. The Bills and the Bengals. What a game this is going to be. The first one last year is one of the one almost died. Damar Hamlin almost died. Get better soon, my man. And then they played in the playoffs where the Bengals got the win. The Bengals got the win against the Bills. We're the shocker team to beat the Bills. Now shocking. And now the Bengals, who really were struggling at the beginning of the year, they found their groove. I can see them not losing another game all year. And now they come in against the Bills, who are definitely a struggling team. They played good football every single week, but they're struggling to get these wins. They almost lost against the Giants. They very well could have lost against the Buccaneers last week. They did lose against the New England Patriots. So this is a Bills team that's really struggling. And as much as I need Josh Allen to do great because I'm on another tough matchup and I need to win this one, I can really see the Bills losing this game and the Bengals pulling another upset because the Bengals, I don't see them slowing down anytime soon while the Bills are really struggling so far this season. And, I mean, that sucks because Josh Allen is still doing great. And I never was much fan of the Bills either, but the Bengals, they're on fire and they're not slowing down. Monday Night Football, the Los Angeles Chargers and the New York Jets. The New York Jets. Holy crap, guys. They've won 3 in a row. everybody was saying, oh, yeah, the Jets are going to suck without him. Zach Wilson's won 3 in a row. They beat the Broncos. They beat somebody else. And last week they beat the Giants in a miserable game. Anyways, still, they won 3 in a row. Breece Hall has been on fire. Zach Wilson has not been bad. He played great football against the Chiefs. You know why? Because Donna Kelsey was there. With the power of Donna Kelsey, Zach Wilson is doing great. I'm sorry, I'm taking this joke too far. Anyways, the Jets have been on fire. The Chargers are struggling to get wins, but I think that's because they have a rough schedule and are playing great teams. The Chargers are a great team. Justin Herbert is great. Austin Eckler is great. Keenan Allen is pretty great. Their defense is... They're really a team that needs to also fire another head coach, so get him out of there too. But the Chargers are a good team. They're playing this Jets team who's not really been struggling. They got 3 in a row, and I don't see them slowing down. And this game is a really hard one for me to pick. Because on one hand, I want to say that the Chargers win this one. But on the other hand, the Jets have been playing good football. Do I want to pull my upset of the week? I am going to pull my upset of the week. I'm going with New York over the Chargers. I feel like that the Chargers have better potential to win this one. But I do feel like that the Jets are on a 3-game win streak. This is one that's really hard to choose, and I feel like I'm about to go to sleep, and I feel like I'm going to be like, yeah, no, I should have changed that. We're going with the Jets. No further. I know I'm going to change it, but no further. Going with the Jets to win this one. All right, that was my Week 9 NFL predictions. Let me know how your team is doing down below. Let me know how your fantasy football team is doing down below. In a couple days, for my football content, I will have a predictions for the playoffs. Like, who do I think is going in as the playoffs so far this year? Then I will have, on my main channel, I also have a lot of movie content coming right up. I still got to finish the Saw review series. There's a bunch of videos coming up. So thank you guys for clicking on this one. And with that said, subscribe, join the Nerd Army.